It's Jason Mewes is here. You know him from Jay and Silent Bob and all the features and that stuff you've done in Zach and I forgot what it's called.
Zach
Zach
and
Mary
Mary.
Make a Porno. And that's where you exposed your genitals,
Yes.
which is even better. And we had a girl yesterday who's a big fan of yours come in and say, I love Jason Mewes. What time's he coming tomorrow? It's about 7:45. She said, I want to meet him because she really started to like you a lot after she saw your penis. And I wanted to ask, like, is that something you thought when you'd whip it out? You're like, I'm going to get a lot more fans out of this? Or
No, I mean, honestly, first thing I thought of, I was like, man, I don't know about my sister lets my nieces and nephews watch it. And like I said, I'm married. And my mother-in-law, I know, was going to watch. She watches the movies. So I don't know. There's the mother-in-law, and then there was the nieces and nephews that I was concerned with them seeing. But then I was like, you know what? I can just tell them to close their eyes at that point.
Except the mother-in-law. She can't close her eyes because there's got to be a deep-rooted curiosity of what her daughter's getting.
Yeah, possibly, yes.
Yeah, don't
I'm
you
sure.
think that, like...
I'm sure.
yes.
I thought I saw this.
Yeah,
you know, the
did
hand
she
over
cover?
the face.
Holy wrecking ball.
But yeah, is she thinking, oh my God, my poor daughter? Or is she thinking, I'm all right, she's all right?
I wonder.
Well, you got to ask.
She did pat me on the back afterwards, and my wife.
Thanksgiving's gotten nicer at her house.
Good for you. Yeah, she was a lot nicer to me. She wasn't trying to, you know.
Was that bonus time for that, showing the frontal nudity? You get an added...
Yeah, do you get extra money for that?
No, not at all.
Because
Very
women
good.
do.
Yeah,
How
they
come guys do?
They, you know, and I'm sure they do. I'm sure some people do, some actors, but it wasn't even planned at first. No, because at first I'm like, I was like, all right, we're gonna shoot this. Am I walking in front of a vase or
right? Where do
some
I hide
fruit,
it?
a fruit basket or something? I just assumed that was the case. And Kevin's like, why don't you just? I think you should just walk out with it. And I was like, are you sure? So
Did
then
you-
I
You're
didn't
like,
think
it's
about it.
about time.
Did you plump up?
Oh, I had to keep it warm. I was in Pittsburgh in a warehouse. It was freezing. So, I had to keep it in my hand and try to give
Right.
it a couple squeezes
Yeah.
just to keep the blood flowing.
Did you use an extender or the pump?
No,
You should have.
No, well,
That would have been awesome.
I should have just put a big. It's funny because some people are like, "Was it fake?" And I'm like, "Look, if it was going to be fake, it
would've
would have
been a
been like
monster.
15 inches." You know what I mean? I would have just
Magnified.
Yeah, exactly. It would have been huge.
Humongous. Yeah. See, I've got confidence in my stuff, but I don't think if I ever were to put it on film that I would not. I would have to go the fake route just in case.
There would be stage fright.
Because you'd have that one
Have to
friend
be.
that no matter what, the one friend that's bigger, and now no matter what you think, you're being ranked.
Yeah, well, you know what? You could always, it's the imagination, right? You would hope, some people, I would hope, would think that when it's erect, that it
You're
gets
like, it
real.
triples, yeah.
I'm like, that's just chilling right there. But when there's blood flowing 100%,
Yeah.
it's the size of
Now, did
something.
you start to?
No.
You
It
could
was
not get
too
erect
awkward.
with all those dudes and
No.
cameras and
There's
stuff?
people, yeah, there was, and I was like sitting there in the back room, and there was people around, like all these dudes, because they had to stay at the front of the camera, so I was like in the back. But and then it was awesome because that scene after I walked by, I was supposed to just drink the orange juice and see the backside. But then on purpose, I was like, whoops, and dropped the orange juice cap. So I bent over, and it was funny.
Gave him the cornucopia.
Yeah, and I hear laughing in the back, and he's like, wait, put some light in the fridge so it backlights. So if you notice when I bend down, you can just see like a perfect silhouette of my yam bags, So it was fun. It actually wound up being a lot of fun, but at first, like I said, I was a little nervous, but...
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Now,
I mean,
Kevin told me, and I think he said this before, that you're the type of person that after knowing you just for a few minutes, you will more than likely see his penis.
Yeah, well, yeah, he had seen it. A lot of people on set had seen it, like
Right.
Mosier and all those cats.
You flop
But
it
again,
out pretty regularly.
Yeah, and again, it wasn't on set I was worried about as much as, even like you said, not even my friends, but my wife's friends. I'm like, what if all her friends are like, oh, my husband's is big, or my
Yeah.
boyfriend's is big.
Guys worry about
And they
that.
start putting my wife down. They're like, what are you doing with him?
Like ex-boyfriends. That
Oh,
would be the
yeah,
thing. Like
exactly.
your wife's exes are like, oh,
Start emailing
fail.
Facebook. And,
You're right.
Yeah,
they're
like,
going to start making their move back. I'm going back into this.
no, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I didn't think about this.
See, and that's the stuff I always think of. The
Well, you
rankings.
think about we were talking about it, that, your current wife or girlfriend, and here's the 7-foot guy she used to go out with.
You automatically,
Like,
as a
you
guy,
wonder,
you're
okay,
worried
is that
about.
good, or
It is something.
or
you
maybe
think
I'm
about.
of that caliber?
Yeah, it's not something I'm comfortable with. So you're a braver man than I am as far as whipping your wang out.
Well, hopefully, she's probably been lying to me, but she said, I try to get some of that out of her from the old boyfriends. Well, what about him?
We talked about this the other day. Brady said he wouldn't ever want to know it, and I said, because I read an article that 90% of women lie to their husbands or boyfriends and say you're perfect, you're the best
Yeah.
It's the perfect size.
Yeah.
And
And
if
it's not a-
90% of them are telling every guy they've ever been with, then there's no truth to that at all. And I'm
But
like,
the argument to that is that it's not necessarily lying. It is you're perfect for
but they said
right
it
now.
to every
You're
guy.
what I want.
Ah, it's
for this
garbage.
moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the future, I don't know.
Yeah, that's politics to me. I want to hear about the massive cannon that she once took that scared her to death.
Yeah, and I don't want to hear about that.
I don't mind that stuff. That doesn't bother me at all. You know your wife's probably been with a couple of hogs, right?
I'm sure. Well, I don't know because I feel like you judge that some hogs. I think you judge that by when you're in action. You hear,
Yeah.
you know,
It's all sound-based.
yeah, because
Wait a
air
minute.
is getting in there because you're not filling
She's
the
a
spot.
bass drum?
So if there's
You
a
never
lot of
had
air,
that?
No, I've never
Yeah.
actually occurred. I'm always filling the hole. Jason.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Then you're then you are large.
I'm not
sir.
familiar with that
You are
sound.
comfortable
Right.
with that.
Why would she sound
Never.
like Why would she sound like a
Not
Tom
in my
drum?
world.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. What you're talking about is some other
I
planet.
can't hear anything over the screaming.
Yeah, usually it's that and the sirens. Jason Mewes is here, and you're here all weekend at Stand Up Live with Kevin Smith. You're doing 2 now, right?
Yes, so we're doing Jay and Bob Get Old, which is Kevin and I, and then after 10 o'clock is Edumacation, which is Kevin and Andy. But I always
gonna sit in?
They use me as a
crash
test
it.
subject.
Oh, I
I'll give you an example. One of the shows we did, they said if you eat 2 pounds of donuts, will you weigh 2 pounds more if you weigh yourself right after you're done eating them? So I had to eat 2 pounds of donuts and weigh myself
Man.
before and after. Well, you know what? I couldn't finish because they didn't tell me beforehand that I couldn't take a drink of water or
Water.
anything.
Oh.
So I got probably 1.5 pounds down. And then I was just like, I can't finish them.
Yeah, what kind of donuts? Were they powdered?
Powdered
Oh,
white
I can
donuts.
imagine you could eat like 6 of those.
Which, see, I love powdered donuts, and I eat probably a bag. I was anyway. I haven't in a while because my old lady. Another thing, she's like, not only are you too small, you're getting a little tire around. Exactly, you're getting fat. So she was like, stop eating a bag of white powdered donuts every night. So I
Did
thought
you get the Donettes?
I
It was
literally was
every day.
literally for probably about 3 months. I was like addicted to powdered donuts, and I'd eat a whole bag.
Wow.
And so I'm like, I can eat 2 bags because I think the 2 pounds was almost 2 full bags.
2 bags, a
And I'm like, I could
16-ounce
do
bag.
that easy, but they didn't tell me that I had to do it in like 40 minutes, and I had to do it without drinking anything. Where at home, I just chilling. I
Right.
watch some 24, Jack Bauer, and I'm
Yeah.
eating donuts and slowly,
Milk or water?
I eat soda with the donut.
Soda?
Yeah,
Ooh,
I gotta
that's
eat
my
Coke.
diet.
And that was the other thing. I was drinking like 10 Cokes a day, 4 Red Bulls, all that. So my old lady had me stop and all that.
So generally, you're just you have an affinity to powder.
Sugar and powder,
You've
yeah.
had a powder
So
thing.
this-
your
But I
whole
haven't in
life.
2 months, and believe it or not, it's crazy because in my head I'm like, oh, I'm not, it's not doing anything. But after stopping, now I have about 1 Red Bull a day and about 2 Cokes a day, no donuts in 2 months, and I've lost 15 pounds just from stopping
Well,
eating.
that makes sense.
No
I
exercise
mean,
or anything,
yeah.
seriously.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that'll happen when you stop eating a bag of donuts
It's
a
true.
day.
But I didn't, I was like, whatever. I eat a
Man.
pizza and this and anyway.
That might
but-
lead to your question, John. That you've been NyQuilling all
I've been
week.
chugging NyQuil because I've had this. I thought I had the flu, and I drank some, and then I took the capsules, and I overdid it a little bit, and it feels like I've got this little fairy. Like every time I yawn, it feels like I'm about to lose my whole package, and then it feels like somebody's just rubbing my back. And I brought it up in the air, and I'm like, it's the greatest thing in the world. I think I could do this every day. And some guy said that's heroin. Minus 10 times. I mean, everything you're talking about, I'm like, that sounds great.
Yeah.
So I was like, can you even touch like any of that stuff,
Oh,
like
yeah, yeah.
NyQuil and things like that?
Oh,
Because as a
can I
former
touch
addict,
NyQuil?
it's like, or as an addict, I guess, even though it's former anything.
I guess I could have NyQuil, but you know what? I haven't.
You don't do it because it would scare
just
me to
didn't-
death.
yeah.
I never thought of it until I took it, and I'm like, this feeling is something.
So
I
you
want
don't
more
think
of.
you don't think anything about over the counter stuff?
Yeah,
Like
no,
if-
I mean, I try not to take, I won't take, over the counter sleep meds or anything if I'm having trouble sleeping.
Right.
I'd rather not. I mean, I can.
That's what the powdered donuts and sodas for.
Yeah, fill in the void with
Right.
that and some,
Right.
I don't know what
Vagina?
I can say. Yeah,
Yeah.
vagina.
Vagina.
Okay.
Heavy-
You're a
Powdered
vegetarian.
You
You
know,
keep the vegetarian. Yeah.
Wait a
foods.
minute. You're filling with both donuts, just holes, just generally, just
Yeah,
find me a
just
hole.
fill in holes. That's what I was,
Donuts and vagina.
Heavy donuts, heavy labia.
Now, whenever you're eating a donut, does it go? Does that ever happen?
It can if I put my tongue in the hole. You never know. Well,
I heard you with Kevin one time talking about your past, and You said your mom used to steal mail?
Yeah, she
this
used
was
to
a
make-
story that I couldn't believe was true. You said, tell me it. I don't even know.
Yeah,
that.
she used to have me drive around in the passenger side, and she'd pull over to mailboxes and make me reach out and like grab people's mail.
How old were you?
And 11, 12.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Is it
And she
all
used to
looking
make-
for the Publishers Clearinghouse winner?
Coupons?
What credit cards? I used to feel horrible because she used to then drive me to this pond where it was pretty secluded, and she'd open it all up in the car, and then when she was done, she'd throw it in this metal garbage can and burn it. Or like if I remember one time she got these license plates from someone, like they got sent in, she like threw them in the pond.
Oh.
Anyway, but I used to feel horrible because it would be like, happy birthday from grandma and grandpa. Like here's $100.
Yes.
And I'd feel horrible. I'd be like, Ma, there's someone's birthday
Yeah.
present they're never gonna get. But
oh well.
But
You know
yeah,
what we
she
need
was,
to do? You and Kevin need to go dredge the pond.
and just try to
Just
make
pull out
amends and
make
pay
amends
money
with
for
all- Give
everyone.
the license plates back, the birthday cards.
Oh, that would be
That would be an
take-
awesome,
Titles to homes.
The documentary. Jason Mewes says we're sorry.
It was hard. That, and then she used to make us go in the grocery stores, my sister and I, and we'd be like walking, and she'd make us put like chopped meat in our like back of our pants and stuff as like little kids, and walk through carton of cigarettes. One of her things was like back then you could like open up and grab cartons of cigarettes.
Yeah.
And then she'd like walk around with 2 cartons, and then she'd make us put them in the back of our pants, and then she'd sell the cigarettes. And
It worked
She had
every
her
time, so you
scams.
never got caught.
we never got busted. No,
Never
yeah.
once.
No.
And is your mom still around?
No, she passed.
Oh,
She
okay.
passed it.
Oh, my
But
goodness.
I got, of course, years and years later when I was like 16, I got busted. You remember we used to be able to open up the plastic and like grab a handful of candy, you weigh it, and you
Yeah.
go up. I remember taking like 2 pieces of gum and just chewing on them and not paying for them, and I got busted
And
for
that's
that.
what you
got in
got
trouble for
busted
that?
Yeah, that's
for.
what I got busted with.
I always worry about that because they have that big display of Jelly Bellies
Yes.
at AJ's. And I'd go into the store and I'd be like, I'm going to eat these. There's no way there's a problem with this. And I'm hitting, and I didn't like a few of them. So I had a handful of what I thought was cinnamon, turned out to be some like cranberry crap. And I started to put them back,
Crunchy
and the
frog.
guy sees me and he goes, hey, you can't have them in your hand and put them back in there. Scoop those out. And I'm like, I am 35 years old, and I am literally going to buy because I felt guilty because I'd been just chowing
Yeah.
down on all these flavors and then putting
And
them
your
all back.
hands on
got
them. You were
busted.
itching
And
your-
I realized I've had like 7 boxes so I just scooped up all of them in a bag and I ended up throwing them out because I'd be so
Yeah.
afraid of getting caught.
Yeah,
and there
yeah.
you are.
There's spikes in the bottom of those if you get
yeah,
them.
you're gonna get a swiping mail would scare me to
Yeah,
death.
it was not fun, but.
No, and mom never got
like-
caught. Nobody ever got caught.
She didn't get busted for that. Years later, she got busted for drugs, but
Yeah.
that was actually she made me drive down. It's pretty crazy because this kid already I knew. Well, I guess I shouldn't say it, but it doesn't matter.
This
This
is
kid I
statute
grew up.
limitations.
Yeah, I grew up. My brother's friend. I know him. She's like, hey, he owes me money. Bring it down. He's with his uncle. I could tell she was a little sketched. So she sent me in. I'm like, I don't want to go. She's like, bring this package down there. He owes me money. Give him this package. And anyway, I was 12 years old. And then I remember like a month later, my brother picked me up from my friends and was like, hey, I have to bring you down to the courthouse. It was an undercover cop this guy had with him who was his uncle. And they were like, if your mom don't turn herself in, because I explained what it was, and they're like, if she don't turn herself in, then you're going to get in trouble. And so my mom was in New York hiding out for a few months, and she finally turned herself in because it was like, all right, I don't want him to get in trouble.
Right.
But still, it was crazy because I'm like, wait, I'm going to get in trouble for just dropping this off. And so these are the things
What
my
did you
mom
think
did.
your life was going to be? Where did you think? I mean, at this point, you have to start thinking, I'm not going to be a movie star.
No, I mean,
Where were you going
And
in
then,
your head?
not to. Dad was never in the mix.
No, never
Okay.
met him. He was married and had 3 kids, so I never met him. But I was roofing at the time. I roofed after I graduated. I was roofing and doing like construction and stuff. I did that for 4 or 5 years. So no, I mean, when Kevin told me, "Hey, I wrote you in this movie, Clerks," I was like, "Yeah, whatever." And then even after we shot it, like I went back to work. He went to try to go to Sundance, and
Right.
he went to Sundance and everything. And I didn't even understand, like, oh wow, you're gonna bring it to these film festivals, like
Right.
maybe get bought. And it wasn't really till Mallrats that we went and we were staying in a hotel. And then right after Mallrats, we met this guy Malcolm there, and I went from Mallrats, went to Vancouver and shot another movie. So after doing 2 movies
Started
back to
just
back,
happening.
it was a 3rd movie. Yeah, I'm like, well, maybe this is something I can do.
About that?
And so
Yeah, that's
so-
that is an amazing story when you think about it. You're just
Yeah.
hanging around Jersey like nothing. Is
yeah, and
going
even
the way
after
of
the
normal.
first one, just going back to work, roofing,
Yeah.
and not thinking anything about it. And so even
Do you miss it?
Roofing?
being
No.
a-
Oh my gosh, no. It was tough. I had to say the only thing that was good about that, and I don't even know it would still be the case because it would be so many years. But back then, I was so in shape from like carrying like 100-pound rolls of rubber up a 2-story roof, and I was always tan because
Just
like right
ripped.
when the sun came out. Yeah. So now it's like I could eat donuts all day and I'd still be ripped. Now it's like I sit around and watch TV, Jack Bauer all day, and Game of Thrones. So.
Do you like the new season?
Game of
I
24?
do. Game of Thrones or
No,
24?
the 24.
I do. I mean, just because I love the show so much. I'm watching it the third time through. I watched it all the way through to catch up for the 9th just to be ready. But again, it's I don't know. I
Don't you think they
awesome.
should just shoot Jack right in the face and surprise everybody? Like
No, I don't
because
want them
Jack,
to.
there's no like danger in him getting hurt, so you have to worry about everybody else getting shot. But I want to see Jack take one. He's been shot, electrocuted, everything.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
He survived.
do the Game of Thrones and take Bauer out.
But then there'd be no.
Sure, there would. We'd pay attention to like solving that crime.
It would
You
just
wouldn't
be
want Chloe
Chloe.
to be the lead.
No
Yeah,
flashbacks.
or
We'll do
even that
flashbacks.
Morgan girl, the new Morgan
Yeah,
girl.
Kate
is-
Morgan, which is not
she's
for
a little
me.
too cute. Yeah,
Well,
she's
'cause,
a little,
she's hot and her name's Kate Morgan, which
yeah,
is foreign.
it's
That throws me.
Only thing that annoys me about the show, I think it's so amazing, but it's so annoying that each time they're like, Jack's like, you gotta, don't do the bomb attack because this guy could help us. And they're like, well, I don't know, Jack. You think by like the 6th season, they're like, you've saved us and your instinct's
This
been
guy
right
is
every time.
representing. Yeah.
like
That's what my wife says every time we're watching. She always goes, "He's always right. Listen to him." I'm like, "Don't ruin it that way." They have to question it, or there's no hour here.
Yeah, it's like how many times can Jack Bauer? He's serving the country.
Yeah,
Can't you
and
read?
he's
just-
always hated. It drives me nuts. I think a bullet to the face would be like the crowd would go crazy. What's your favorite part of the Comic-Con? You do Comic-Cons now because of this. You got your movies coming out.
We have
the animated one is out, right?
Yeah, it's on
available.
iTunes. Jay and Silent Bob's Super Groovy Cartoon Movie. It's on iTunes and VOD, and we have a Blueprints book coming out called Jay and Silent Bob Destroy Everything, which is like the blueprints from Mallrats, but there's 50 different ones, and we're gonna be doing a signing at Comic-Con this year, and we're also gonna be doing a podcast there, a live podcast. I mean, I just like walking around. I mean, I've been going to Comic-Con in San Diego since 95, 96. Kevin and I started going. I mean, it's definitely has changed so much.
It exploded into this beast of a thing. I mean, it's the San Diego one's ridiculous, so much so that the one in Phoenix is now kind of getting.
Well, now you
place.
have a couple of those shows where, what is it? The one where they cosplay.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
cosplay reality show. A lot of stuff has exploded on
It's
that.
like we just shook the world, and nerds just fell everywhere.
Oh,
And they're
it's-
like, we're happy to be outside again.
It was, I mean, and the stuff they do now, like in Houston, I just went to one in Houston, and the guy from Game of Thrones, Miltos, master swordsman from season 1, and he was there, and he was actually giving sword.
Was he the one that taught the young?
Yes,
Stark?
yes.
Okay, yeah.
And he was teaching people you could go and take like an hour class of sword fighting. So yeah, like they're doing that inside. They were doing like Call of Duty, like laser tag, and
The real thing.
Yeah, it's like crazy stuff
So
they do
awesome.
now, and all these people cosplayers dressing up
See,
and
that's
like
what I'm
acting
waiting for.
stuff out.
This weekend's going to be rough because there's going to be like 70,000 people dressed as Chewbacca and Voldemort.
What are you dressing as,
And it's 110
Jason?
degrees outside.
I don't
They're
know
all
how
going
they
to drop
do
dead.
it.
You're going to see dead Chewies all over Central Avenue.
Yeah.
It's like Hollywood Boulevard. I watch these people dressed up as Donald Duck or
We were there when
Elmo.
it was 93. It was
Yeah,
93 degrees.
Well,
Was it last year?
it was a couple
so
years ago.
hot, and I was crotchety.
he
I'm like,
quit.
this is miserable. I'm not even in an outfit, and these guys are out there.
In front of the Chinese theater,
Yeah,
Darth
yeah.
Vader took his helmet off, and he was a black guy, and then a stormtrooper next to him took his helmet off and goes, "Man, this is awful today." And they're sweating, and it's like, you're killing it. The kids can see that you're like, "Man, I'm going home. This is garbage." And one of the stormtroopers didn't have a center because his stomach stuck out, so it's just so awesome. Like, that's better than
it
anything
was a
I could have ever
stormtrooper
done.
with a muffin top.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, there's always like 5 Spider-Man. There's like
Yeah.
holes in them and stuff. Just dirty as hell.
They're
and
my
stuff.
favorite ones. I don't like the clean costumes. I get that in the movies.
Have
I
you
like the-
seen that documentary about the guy, the Superman and the Hulk?
Never finished. I just
No.
saw like 2 minutes of it. I want to go back.
Oh,
and finish it.
I mean, the Hulk costume the one guy had was horrible, but
Oh.
it's so I'll walk. I live very close. I live by the Hollywood Bowl, and I'll
Right.
walk down Hollywood Boulevard past the Man Chinese and all that, just to people watch all these. Like you see the girls like that are dressed as fairies, and there's like the really weak costume of Captain
yeah.
America, and they're like, you can see them like counting money each other, and he's like, yo, you go up to that person, and like they're so scammy and so it's
and they're
amazing.
territorial.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
got their spots.
I really want to ask him, like, if you're Spider-Man, you see 3 other Spider-Man, don't you want to be like, my costume's better, so you get off my... Oh, it'd be
Wouldn't you
awesome
stand
to
next to crappy Spider-Man and be like, come on, look at this. This guy's an imposter.
They should do the thing where like Hemsworth, the real Thor,
real one
shows
hangs
up
out.
at Thor's spot.
That would be
And see if there's a few that
Just
he wouldn't
stand next
recognize.
to-
He
like,
just starts smashing people
Yeah.
with his hammer.
well,
if
he
he stood
just
next to
I'm just kidding.
Street Thor and
Yes.
just said,
Yeah.
Okay, please. It would be awesome. Well, it's great to have you here. And,
Thank you.
It's very cool to, and I now I want to go to Comic-Con just because you've got me fired up about it. But more importantly, go see Jay and Silent Bob Get Old. The podcast is Saturday at 7 o'clock over at Stand Up Live. And then you're doing the 10 o'clock also. Kevin Smith presents Edumacation at standuplive.com is where you get your tickets and anything else. Any parting words, Jason Mewes?
No, just come watch some cosplayers with me.
Yeah, go down there
Right?
and hang out.
You can leave here. Let's just go.
Let's do this. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll put this on autopilot for a couple hours. Let's go stare at the weirdos. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Thank
Jason
you.
Mewes, everybody. It's 98K UPD.
98